Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. You know, we get a lot of requests for us to do deep dives into all sorts of things, and one that we've gotten quite a bit is 2025 predictions.
Oh, yeah.
And so we thought for this episode, we would dive into the predictions of one particular astrologer, Lorenzo.
Okay.
And so we're going to dive into what Lorenzo is saying for 2025, and we'll just present it as is. You know, obviously, it's all up for interpretation. So with that, let's dive in.
I'm excited.
Yeah, this will be fun. So I think what's interesting about Lorenzo's approach to these predictions is that he doesn't just, talk about global events, but he weaves in potential human stories.
Mm-hmm.
He even gives specific dates for key events, which I think is interesting.
Right.
So, for example, he predicts that there will be the emergence of a young Indian activist who will lead a global movement.
Wow.
For water conservation.
Interesting.
Specifically focused on cleaning up the Ganges River.
Okay.
And he even predicts that this will specifically between March and June of 2025. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And so if we kind of look at the astrological influences during that time period, Pluto in Aquarius stands out.
Okay.
And this is all about transformation.
Mm-hmm.
And it often signals the rise of very powerful movements driven by the younger generations.
Yeah.
So this planetary placement could be fueling this activist's ability to really inspire people.
Right.
And kind of get them rallied around this cause.
Exactly. And that energy is even more amplified with Jupiter in Cancer, which will be happening at the same time. Jupiter is about, nurturing and protecting resources. So it suggests that the movement that this person is going to start won't just be about cleaning the Ganges. You know? It could be a global focus on water resources altogether.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
A pretty impactful prediction.
Yeah.
Almost like a domino effect stemming from one individual. I mean, it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, he also predicts that there's going to be a potentially huge scientific breakthrough led by a female scientist.
Okay.
In August 2025.
Gotcha.
He says it's likely to be in Germany or Scandinavia. And this breakthrough is specifically with solar energy.
Solar energy.
Yeah.
So this is really fascinating because, well, for one, it's August of 2025, which is when Uranus and Gemini will be making a trine aspect to Pluto in Aquarius. And this is a combination that often, brings about significant technological advances, the kind that benefit all of humanity on a huge scale.
So we're talking game changers in terms of solar energy.
Maybe.
Like, could this finally be what we've been waiting for to really push towards sustainable energy solutions?
It's very possible, especially given that, Germany and those Scandinavian countries, they're already leading the way in renewable energy. They've already got the infrastructure and research to make that happen,
Right. So a young activist cleaning the Ganges and a scientist revolutionizing solar energy.
Wow.
Lorenzo's setting the stage for a year of some pretty impactful individuals. Now, he also dives into some broader trends for 2025, and one that stood out to me was the prediction of a significant youth population boom in Africa, particularly in Nigeria.
Okay.
And so he links this prediction to Jupiter in Cancer and Pluto in Aquarius, highlighting Nigeria's potential to become a major tech hub.
Wow.
So you've got this booming young population, and then you've got a rise in technology. It sounds like Nigeria could be on the verge of a major transformation. What kind of impact does Lorenzo see this having?
Well, he predicts that it'll lead to a massive expansion of education and employment in Nigeria.
Right.
And it's a challenge, but also a huge opportunity.
Yeah.
Nigeria could become a leader in the global tech space, attract a lot of investment. Foster innovation.
And let's not forget the potential challenges too, right? Rapid growth like that often requires a lot of, responsible resource management.
Yeah.
Sustainable development practices.
For sure, yeah. It's like progress comes with responsibility. Speaking of challenges, Lorenzo predicts a mass migration from the Sahel region.
Oh, wow.
Due to droughts and desertification.
Right.
This will impact North Africa and Europe.
Wow, that's definitely a heavy prediction.
Yeah.
What are some of the astrological indicators he points to for that?
The big ones are Saturn and Neptune in Aries.
Okay.
And then Mars in Libra.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And how does Lorenzo see this migration playing out? Like, what are some of the potential consequences?
Well, he predicts that countries like Italy and Spain, which are, already struggling with migration challenges, they'll be facing even more pressure.
Right.
And, this could lead to some intense political debate about immigration policies,
Yeah.
not just within those individual countries, but within the EU as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a complex situation for sure with no easy solutions. And Lorenzo's predictions really do highlight how interconnected global events are and the ripple effects they have. I mean, take, for example, his prediction about the continued rapid urbanization in Asia,
Oh, right.
particularly in cities like Mumbai and Jakarta,
Okay.
which makes sense, right?
Totally.
With the population boom in the region.
Yeah.
But what are some of the potential consequences of that kind of growth in those cities?
Lorenzo says that it will probably put a lot of strain on the infrastructure that they have now.
Sure.
He's connecting this prediction to Pluto and Aquarius, Jupiter and Cancer, and Uranus and Gemini.
So these placements, these astrological placements, you're saying, they suggest that maybe technology and innovation will play a key role in overcoming or navigating those challenges of rapid urbanization.
Exactly. And he even mentions Singapore and South Korea as places that are already implementing these successful smart city initiatives. And that's all about using technology to create these more livable and sustainable urban environments.
Right. It's amazing how Lorenzo kind of connects these seemingly very separate events like population booms and urbanization to like a larger astrological context. But his predictions for 2025 don't just stop at these demographic shifts and technological advancements.
Oh, right.
He also delves into some potentially challenging scenarios like global health crises.
Right.
And one of his predictions is there's a potential viral outbreak in Southeast Asia between May and September 2025. He emphasizes that it's not predicted to be as severe as COVID was, but could spread rapidly nonetheless.
Oh, wow.
It's definitely a little unsettling to think about another potential outbreak, even if it's predicted to be less severe.
What are the astrological indicators he points to for this prediction?
Okay, so the main players are Saturn and Neptune in Aries,
Yeah.
Mars and Leo and Libra, and also the solar eclipse in Virgo.
May.
But he also highlights that we're in a much better position now than we were a few years ago to handle an event like this. So are we talking about like better global health surveillance systems?
Right.
Or are we talking about advancements in medical technology?
Both, actually.
Yeah.
Organizations like the WHO.
Right.
And then we've got AI-powered tools now.
Yeah.
All these could be really crucial in identifying and containing an outbreak like that really quickly before it, becomes a pandemic.
Okay. That's definitely reassuring.
Yeah.
But physical health isn't the only concern. Lorenzo also predicts a potential global mental health crisis, fueled by factors such as unemployment, economic instability, and the impact of natural disasters.
Right.
This prediction is particularly, poignant, especially given, the challenging astrological climate of 2025. And Jupiter in Cancer square Chiron in Aries is a significant aspect he points to. Yeah. Which, points to this increased emotional vulnerability, kind of this need for healing. Mm. So does Lorenzo offer any insight into how this potential mental health crisis might be addressed? Yeah. Are there any kind of positive developments that he foresees? He
does. He believes that governments will be forced to, actually invest more in mental health resources.
Okay.
So things like online counseling, AI-driven therapy tools.
Oh, interesting.
He also sees it as a potential for increased awareness. Like, we could finally really destigmatize mental health.
Sure.
Which could, lead to more open conversations and better support systems.
Yeah. Those are definitely positive steps in the right direction. Mm. Now, shifting gears a bit, Lorenzo also has some predictions related to space exploration. He predicts a manned lunar mission by NASA in December 2025, with the goal of testing technologies for Mars colonization. And, this prediction really captures the spirit of human ambition and, our drive to explore the unknown. What's interesting is he connects this mission to a series of retrogrades: Jupiter in Cancer, Saturn in Pisces, Uranus in Taurus, and Neptune in Pisces.
Oh, interesting.
So are you saying instead of viewing these retrogrades as like obstacles or setbacks, he sees them as opportunities for kind of reevaluation and careful planning?
Yeah, exactly. It suggests that the mission will be successful precisely because of NASA's thorough preparation.
Yeah.
They'll be drawing on all of their past experiences and really taking this meticulous approach,
Right.
which will, of course, ensure safety and long-term success.
Right. Makes you think that sometimes, slowing down and reevaluating can actually lead to greater progress in the long run.
Yeah.
Now, NASA isn't the only player in the space game. Lorenzo also predicts that China will successfully deploy a second-generation Mars rover in October 2025.
Oh, wow.
And he links this prediction to Uranus in Gemini, trine Pluto in Aquarius,
Right.
suggesting that China is poised to become like a dominant force in space exploration.
Interesting.
It's interesting to see how these astrological aspects, can be applied to different countries and their ambitions. Does Lorenzo offer any insight into, the impact of this achievement on global space race?
Yeah, he does. He says that it will probably further intensify the competition between China and Western nations,
Right.
and could possibly even lead to a whole new era of space exploration, marked by both collaboration and rivalry.
It kind of makes you wonder if we'll see a more collaborative approach to space exploration in the future, or if national interests will continue to dominate that.
Right, yeah.
It's a question worth pondering.
Definitely.
Leonard's predictions go beyond just government-led space programs.
Yeah.
He also sees private companies making major strides in space exploration. Specifically, he predicts a breakthrough in asteroid mining in June 2025.
Asteroid mining.
He believes a company like SpaceX or Blue Origin will successfully test new extraction technology.
Wow, that's really interesting. It sounds like something out of science fiction.
Yeah.
But I guess it's becoming more of a reality now.
Yeah. What astrological influences does he connect to this prediction?
The big ones are Jupiter in Gemini, trine Pluto in Aquarius,
Okay.
and Mars in Leo.
Gotcha.
And so these suggest a combination of, technological innovation, ambition, and a willingness to take risks, which, will ultimately lead to success.
But asteroid mining also raises a lot of ethical and legal questions too, right?
So yeah, for sure.
Like who owns these resources,
Right.
and what are the environmental impacts?
Yeah, exactly. Lorenzo's prediction doesn't get into those specifics,
Okay.
but it definitely, highlights that we're venturing further into space now, and we'll have to develop new frameworks and regulations. We'll have to ensure responsible resource management to prevent potential conflicts.
It's a good reminder that progress often comes with a whole new set of challenges.
For sure.
Speaking of challenges, let's talk about Lorenzo's predictions related to cultural shifts in 2025.
Okay.
One that caught my eye was his prediction of a growing movement focused on ethical implications of AI development.
Oh, right.
And this prediction is, I think, particularly timely given the rapid advancements in AI technology we're seeing. He connects this to the combined influences of Pluto in Aquarius and Uranus in Gemini.
Right.
So are these placements suggesting that there's going to be a push for greater transparency and accountability in AI development?
Exactly. He actually sees this movement as, gaining traction all over the world, leading to ethical AI summits in major cities.
Wow.
Like Geneva or Tokyo.
Man.
It's all about making sure that AI is developed and used responsibly, really focusing on fairness, privacy, and human well-being.
That's encouraging to hear. It's important that we have these conversations, that we set ethical guidelines.
Yeah.
Especially as AI becomes more and more integrated into our lives. And speaking of cultural shifts, Lorenzo also predicts a global art renaissance, inspired by themes of resilience, hope, and rebuilding in the wake of 2025's challenges.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's a very inspiring prediction. He links it to the influence of Neptune sextile Pluto, Jupiter in Cancer, and just the overall intensity of the year's astrological aspects.
Right.
So it's almost like the challenges themselves are going to be fueling this artistic outpouring.
Exactly. It's all about channeling these experiences into creative expression.
Right.
Finding beauty in the midst of adversity, and then using art as a way of, as a means of healing and connection and social commentary.
I love that. I love that idea. Does Lorenzo provide any specifics about how this renaissance might manifest in different parts of the world?
He does. He predicts a resurgence of, live performances and grassroots festivals, especially in Europe and the U.S.
Okay.
because people are, they're going to be seeking connection and collective healing through music and art.
Right.
Then in the film industry, he sees dystopian and climate-related themes kind of dominating Hollywood, while Bollywood might focus on more inspirational human stories.
Oh, interesting. So it's fascinating how he sees it kind of taking on these different forms depending on the cultural context. What about the fashion industry? Does he see any shifts there?
Yeah, he predicts that there's going to be a movement toward sustainable practices
Yeah.
with Scandinavian countries and Japan kind of leading the charge there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It sounds like Lorenzo envisions a year where creativity really flourishes on a global scale,
Yeah.
drawing inspiration from both the challenges and the triumphs of 2025.
Right.
What's interesting is that his predictions don't stop at 2025. He also explores the long-term impacts of these trends, stretching into the next decade and beyond.
That's right. One of his most intriguing long-term predictions is a geopolitical realignment
Oh, what?
driven by Pluto in Aquarius and Saturn in Aries.
Okay, so are we talking about a shift in global power dynamics?
Exactly.
Kelly.
He actually sees traditional superpowers like the U.S. facing internal struggles and even a decline in their influence,
Yeah.
while other nations like India, Brazil, and South Africa kind of emerge as these key players on the world stage.
That's a pretty dramatic shift.
Yeah.
What are the driving forces behind this realignment, according to Lorenzo?
Well, he believes it's just a natural kind of evolution of the global order, driven by, demographic changes, economic shifts, and this growing desire for a more multipolar world,
Right.
where power is more evenly
A
distributed.
more multipolar world. That's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Does he elaborate at all on the implications of this this shift? Like, what does it mean for international relations and global trade and things like that?
He does. He thinks that it'll lead to new alliances forming, a reevaluation of global institutions,
Okay.
and more of an emphasis on collaboration and diplomacy over competition and conflict.
It's a pretty hopeful vision of the future.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine this transition won't be without its challenges.
Of
But
course, change is rarely ever smooth or easy.
right.
But Lorenzo's prediction suggests that this realignment is necessary for a more balanced and sustainable global order.
I'd say so. And along with these geopolitical shifts, Lorenzo also sees some major changes happening in the realm of climate action. He predicts accelerated progress in tackling climate change, driven by innovations in renewable energy and the development of climate-resilient infrastructure. And he connects his prediction to Uranus in Gemini trine Pluto in Aquarius, and Saturn and Neptune in Aries.
Right.
So we're talking about a combination of technological advancements and collective action. Yeah, and just a greater awareness of the urgency of the climate crisis.
Exactly. He believes that, those solar energy breakthroughs of 2025, combined with advancements in fusion energy and the development of climate-resilient infrastructure, will actually create a tipping point
Okay.
in our efforts to mitigate the worst impacts of climate change.
It's encouraging to hear that he sees such positive developments on the horizon.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how he sees these advancements being driven not just by governments and large corporations,
Right.
but also by local communities,
Yeah.
particularly those on the front lines of climate change.
Exactly. He specifically mentions coastal communities as pioneers in developing this really innovative and resilient infrastructure that can withstand, rising sea levels, extreme weather events.
It's a good reminder that that solutions often come from those who are most directly affected by a problem.
Yeah.
They have the lived experience and the motivation to drive change.
Yeah.
Now, along with these advancements in climate action, Lorenzo also predicts a significant transformation in our relationship with technology.
Yeah.
He sees AI becoming increasingly integrated into various industries by the end of the decade,
Right.
leading to increased efficiency, personalized experiences, and potentially even solutions to some of humanity's greatest challenges.
Wow.
It's clear that AI is already transforming many aspects of our lives, but Lorenzo seems to be suggesting that this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Right. And he connects this prediction to the influence of Pluto in Aquarius and Uranus in Gemini.
Okay.
Really emphasizing this transformative and innovative nature of this technological evolution.
But along with the potential benefits of AI,
Yeah.
there are also some significant risks too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, job displacement, algorithmic bias,
Yeah.
and even, the potential for misuse.
Absolutely.
And Lorenzo acknowledges these concerns. He emphasizes the importance of maintaining, ethical controls over AI development,
Right.
and ensuring that this technology is used to enhance human well-being, not to undermine it.
Of course.
So it's about finding that balance
Yeah.
between, embracing the innovation,
Right.
but also, safeguarding against those potential risks.
Exactly. It's a reminder that technology is just a tool.
Yeah.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill. And it's really up to us, to make sure that its development is guided by ethics and a commitment to human well-being.
Well said. It's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
But as we've seen with Lorenzo's predictions, the future is full of both challenges and opportunities, and our choices and our actions will ultimately determine which path we take.
Right.
And speaking of choices and actions, Lorenzo's final set of long-term predictions focuses on this cultural shift towards a greater emphasis on spirituality, mental health awareness, and interconnectedness.
Just beautiful.
This prediction feels particularly relevant, especially given the increasing levels of stress and anxiety and isolation
Yeah.
that we see in our modern world.
Totally. And Lorenzo sees this shift as just this natural evolution of human consciousness,
Okay.
A response to the challenges and the opportunities of our time. And really just a reflection of our deepest longing for meaning and connection and well-being.
It's about finding a sense of balance.
Yeah.
And wholeness in a world that often feels very fragmented and overwhelming.
Right.
What astrological influences does he connect to this prediction?
Primarily, it's Jupiter in Cancer and Neptune in Pisces.
Okay.
And these really highlight that nurturing, compassionate, and spiritually oriented nature of this cultural evolution.
So it's about tapping into our emotional intelligence and cultivating empathy.
Right.
And recognizing our interconnectedness, as a human family sharing this planet.
Exactly. And Lorenzo actually sees this shift manifesting in all sorts of ways.
Oh, interesting.
From the integration of mindfulness
Right.
and emotional intelligence practices into education systems,
Okay.
to the rise of these more holistic approaches to healthcare that address the mind, the body, and the spirit.
He sees businesses adopting more compassionate and people-centric approaches, communities coming together to support each other.
Yeah.
And just a growing awareness of the importance of spiritual practices and rituals in fostering a sense of meaning and purpose.
It's a vision of a future where our values are aligned with our deepest aspirations.
Yeah.
And where our actions are guided by love and compassion. And we recognize that we are interconnected, that we are all part of this human family sharing this precious planet.
It's a beautiful vision, and one that I think a lot of us are really longing for.
Yeah.
So we've covered a lot of ground today in this deep dive into Lorenzo's predictions for 2025, from global events and technological advancements to individual stories and cultural shifts. It seems like he's touched on just about every aspect of human experience.
It really does. It speaks to this holistic approach that he takes with astrology. He doesn't just, see it as this predictive tool, but as a framework for understanding this interconnectedness of all things.
Right. And while it's important to remember that these are just, predictions based on his interpretation of astrological influences, they offer us this fascinating glimpse into the potential trajectories of 2025 and even beyond.
Absolutely. And it encourages us to think critically about the future.
Yeah.
To consider the possibilities and to ask ourselves what role we want to play, in shaping the world around us.
So As we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious to know what stood out to you the most from Lorenzo's predictions? What really resonated with you on a personal level?
For me, it was that prediction about the global art renaissance.
Oh, yeah.
This idea that art can be this really powerful force for healing and transformation and social change, especially in the wake of such challenging times. That really speaks to me.
I agree. It's this reminder that even amidst the chaos and the uncertainty, the human spirit is always finding ways to express itself and to find beauty and to create meaning.
And the fact that, Lorenzo is emphasizing these themes of resilience and hope and rebuilding,
Yeah.
it suggests that this art renaissance won't just be some, aesthetic movement.
Right.
It'll be a reflection of our collective journey through, these difficult times and this shared aspiration that we all have for a brighter future.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Well, Lorenzo's predictions for 2025 certainly offer a lot to think about.
Yeah.
They highlight the potential for both incredible progress and some significant challenges.
And it's a good reminder that the future isn't, set in stone.
Right.
It's something that we are all creating, through our choices, our actions, our collective intentions.
It's a reminder that we're not, just passive observers in this.
Right.
We all have a role to play in shaping the future, whether it's through our personal choices or our professional endeavors, or even just our engagement in our communities.
Exactly.
So as we move forward, let's do so with a sense of awareness and intentionality and a commitment to creating a world that really does reflect our highest values and aspirations.
Well said.
And remember, the deep dive doesn't end here.
Right.
We encourage you to continue exploring Lorenzo's predictions.
Yeah.
Share your thoughts with others and see how you can make a positive impact on the world in 2025 and beyond. Who knows? Maybe you'll even become part of Lorenzo's next set of predictions.
That's right.
Until next time, keep exploring the wonders of the universe.
Yeah.
Keep asking questions and keep diving deep.
See you next time. Yeah, and it's interesting too how these predictions can be, kind of like these self-fulfilling prophecies. Oh, right.
Because if people, hear about these predictions and they start to believe in them, then they might actually take actions that make them come true.
Yeah. It's almost like a feedback loop, right?
Exactly.
Where the predictions themselves can influence the course of events.
Absolutely.
Well, I think it's safe to say that Lorenzo has given us a lot to ponder.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see how things unfold in the years ahead.
Definitely.
I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll revisit these predictions in a few years and see how accurate they turned out to be.
Oh, that would be fun.
But for now, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive.
Yeah.
So thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.